Now, it's been one of the most anticipated comebacks in pop. After 40 years, ABBA are finally back with a new studio album.
Few stories in pop music history carry the magic, drama, and heartbreak of ABBA. After for decades away from the studio, the Swedish supergroup stunned the world with their comeback. Their 2021 album Voyage and the groundbreaking virtual concert residency in London reignited the fascination with a band that once defined an entire era. But behind the glittering costumes, the Eurovision triumphs, and the unforgettable melodies, there were very real human struggles. At the heart of it all was Benny Andersson and Anni-Frid Lyngstad, two people whose love story burned bright before. Unraveling under the weight of fame, pressure, and personal betrayal, Benny and Frida first crossed paths in 1969, years before ABBA became a household name. At the time, Frida was beginning to carve out a reputation for herself in Sweden's folk and jazz scene, while Benny was already famous with the Hep stars, often called the Swedish Beatles. When they met at a music festival, Benny was instantly captivated not just by her fiery red hair and striking presence, but by the sheer power of her voice. Their connection was undeniable. It was the kind of spark that promised both music and love. By the mid-1970s, ABBA had formed, and just as the group rose to global fame, Benny and Frida's relationship deepened. In many ways, they were the less publicized couple compared to Björn Ulvaeus and Agneta Foltskog, but behind the scenes, they played an equally important role in shaping the band's sound. Benny had an extraordinary gift for melodies, while Frida poured raw emotion into every note she sang. Together, their creative chemistry helped fuel ABBA's rise to international stardom, but fame is rarely a gentle companion. As ABBA exploded in popularity, the very qualities that once made Benny and Frida strong partners began to divide them. Benny was a perfectionist, endlessly working in the studio, chasing the flawless sound. Frida, in contrast, was spontaneous and emotional, more drawn to the feeling of the music than its technical precision. What once complemented each other became a source of tension. Add to that the constant spotlight, world tour, and the pressures of being global celebrities, and cracks soon began to show. By 1979, those cracks were too large to ignore. Benny buried himself in his work while Frida grew restless. Rumors began circulating about Benny's closeness with a woman named Monin Turklet, a television worker he had met during an ABBA special. In early 1981, Benny admitted the truth to Frida. He had developed feelings for Mona. The confession devastated her. Their 9-year relationship collapsed, leaving not just personal heartbreak, but an undeniable mark on the band itself. In May of 1981, Benny sat down for a rare and emotional interview with Sweden's Expressen. The confident songwriter the world knew seemed shaken. His hands trembled as he lit cigarette after cigarette, his voice heavy with regret. He admitted to the split and acknowledged Mona as his new woman, though he insisted he and Frida remained friends. Those closest to them saw the pain behind the facade. For Frida, it wasn't just the loss of a partner, it felt like a betrayal of everything they had built together. In love and in music, ABBA continued to perform and record for another year, but the magic had shifted. Their songs took on a new weight.
Briefly.
Hits like The Winner Takes It All and When All Is Said and Done resonated differently once fans understood the heartbreak happening offstage. What had once been pop anthems now felt like confessions set to music. By the time the group officially disbanded in 1982, both couples at the core of ABBA had split, and the fairytale image of the band was forever changed. Frida's personal story, however, is one of resilience. Long before ABBA, she had already endured hardship. Born in Norway in 1945, she entered the world under a shadow. Her mother had fallen in love with a German soldier during the war, and when the conflict ended, that relationship made Frida an outcast. Branded a war child, she grew up facing prejudice and isolation. To protect her, her mother told her that her father had died in the war. Later, the two moved to Sweden to start fresh. Music became Frida's refuge. By age 11, she was performing locally, her voice carrying a depth far beyond her years. At 16, she was touring Sweden with a big band, and by 1967, she had her first record deal. Yet her past returned unexpectedly in the late 1970s when a German magazine revealed that her father was alive. A reunion was arranged, but it was far from the heartfelt moment she had imagined. Instead, it was awkward, filled with silences that underscored the decades of absence. It was another chapter of longing and disappointment in Frida's already complex life. After ABBA's breakup, Frida seemed to find her fairy tale when she married Prince Heinrich Roos of Plauen in 1992, officially becoming a princess. Swedish media was captivated. The pop star turned royal, living in a castle overlooking Lake Geneva sounded like a dream. But life inside palace walls proved far from simple. Royal protocols, endless social duties, and a structured aristocratic lifestyle were at odds with the free-spirited artist she had always been. Then tragedy struck. In 1998, Frida's daughter and Lisa tragically died in a car accident in New York. The devastating loss shattered her. Retreating from the public eye, she sought solace in her Swiss home, away from the cameras and obligations of both royalty and music. In those painful years, she found comfort in an unlikely place, Benny Andersson. Despite their past, he reached out to her, understanding in a way few others could. Their connection, rooted in shared history and heartbreak, gave her a small measure of peace. By the early 2000s, Frida had largely stepped away from the spotlight, living quietly in Switzerland. But while her presence dimmed, ABBA's legacy only grew brighter. Their songs continued to cross generations, becoming timeless anthems of love, loss, and joy. In 2021, the world was stunned when ABBA returned with Voyage, their first new album in 40 years. The music reminded fans of the band's timeless brilliance, but it was their innovative concertaba Voyage in London that truly made history. Using motion capture technology and digital avatars, the band appeared on stage as their younger selves, performing alongside a live band. The show cost $175 million to create and quickly became a sensation, selling over 1.3 million tickets and drawing fans from more than 140 countries. For many, it was more than just a concert. It was an emotional reunion with the music that had shaped their lives. Today, ABBA has no plans for traditional live performances, having even turned down a billion-dollar offer for a world tour. Instead, their avatars will keep dancing, ensuring the music lives on in a way that bridges generations and pushes the boundaries of live entertainment. Behind the dazzling lights, though, the human story of ABBA remains as compelling as their music. The love and heartbreak of Benny and Frida, the resilience of a war child turned pop icon and princess, and the ability for musicians to create songs that captured the world, all of it shaped a legacy that endures to this day. So, what do you think? Could Benny and Frida's love story have survived without the crushing weight of fame? Did their heartbreak make ABBA's music even more powerful? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from behind the music.